So have you ever wanted a series that is a perfect blend of ReZero and Cautious Hero? If you've ever heard of either of these two series, and you know for a fact of how well written, how high quality, how good the characters are, and how engaging the plot actually is within the story. And that's pretty much what Doombreaker is. I stumbled upon this series because I saw it, getting advertised on, the WEBTOON app, and I was like, what is this? I decided to click it, and what I found was just something that kind of surprised me. I was like, once again, another Isekai series, another reincarnated to another world / transported to another world series has caught my attention. I know I'm a sucker for these type of series, I do know, but however, nobody can disagree with me that there is just so many unique things that, different writers can do with this type of theme that could lead to just such an interesting story, and that's, like I said, what Doombreaker is actually about. So at this time, there is currently only 3 chapters out right now, so basically, it's very easy to catch up. You can pretty much catch up in about probably 20 minutes or less, so it's really not that long of a read, and if you're wanting to be someone that's, like, up to date with the series as it's brand new and watch it as it progresses, and, you get to see the journey of the character and the author and all that as they write it, then basically, it's a good time to catch up with Doombreaker. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, so you already said that it's a nice blend of Cautious Hero and ReZero. Is that something that, is actually done well? Obviously, yes, because what I got from the first chapter definitely was impressive. So, pretty much the start of the series, Doombreaker, opens up with finding out that the entirety of humanity is pretty much been eradicated. Everybody is gone. Now, I'm not talking about the typical setup of like, oh, there's like a few hundred people left alive, oh, there's a few thousand left behind a wall. That's not what I'm saying. I'm literally saying all of humanity is pretty much dead in the first chapter. Everybody is dead, and the only living human left in the entirety of the world is literally our MC. He stands before literally like a demon king, or the god of destruction himself, to face this opponent, and what makes this very engaging is that when you think about a hero standing before the main villain, the main antagonist, it's like usually they have something to protect, something to defend, but in this case, when the story opens up, there is nothing left. Everything is already gone and been torn to ashes, into ruin itself, and so technically the struggle of our MC is pretty much kind of fruitless at this point, because even if, like, hypothetically, he does take down the god of destruction or the demon king himself, there is nothing left for him to go back to. The world is already in ruin, everything is pretty much destroyed. The only thing he really could have at that point if he was to bring down the god of destruction is by just saying, yeah, I got vengeance against this entity that wiped out all of humanity. It's a very sad opening to the story, but it's engaging because it's like, holy crap, like, he's already lost everything. It really just goes to show you what this world has had to be put through to be at this point right now, and what our MC has been through to be at that point right now within the story. So obviously, we see that since the world is coming to an end, and, the MC is by himself, he takes a fatal blow, and he is at death's door. He is literally about to die. And in his last moments before he dies, the god of destruction's like, hey, you were a pain in my butt for a very long time. How about, you take my hand, we work together, and we dominate the stars. We go around and we conquer more planets and all that. And obviously, a guy that continuously fights for this long is not just going to accept an offer from an individual that has destroyed his entire world. That's not going to happen. So in his own way of retaliation, he decides to use this ability, which is not really specified. We don't really know how it fully works yet, which I'm assuming eventually we will. This ability is apparently able to draw power from another dimension, and it literally obliterates the God of Destruction's hand, and then the MC dies in the process. Now, upon his death, you think that would be the end, but clearly, this is the first chapter, so there's definitely a lot more. Upon his death, he wakes up in this different, realm, this whole different world, and he's like, what's going on here? Come to find out, he's basically in the afterlife, and he talks to the gods and goddesses of the world, and they start to tell him, like, hey, we're gonna send you back. We're gonna send you back in time and all that to a random point in time, and allow you to kind of redo everything once again. And basically, as more things continuously get elaborated on, you find out that these gods, they literally didn't care about helping humanity whatsoever. It's explained that they, gave up their benefits to humanity. They kind of cast aside humanity, and they didn't care about them whatsoever. They no longer gave them blessings or listened to their prayers. They just threw them to the side. And eventually, we found out that apparently they just only watched humanity and our MC for entertainment purposes alone. They did not care about what actually happened to humanity. They didn't care about humanity's plight, their plea, their prayers. They just wanted just straight up entertainment. And in all honesty, it reminds me a lot of, Omniscient Reader, if you heard me talk about this series already on this channel. But just seeing how the gods were basically saying, we just want entertainment, it obviously sparks a reaction in our MC and also us, the audience, that actually read the chapter. It's like, okay, so you literally allowed this entire world, these worlds, to be destroyed just for your amusement. You're supposed to be this benevolent gods itself that, is supposed to look over everybody, but they didn't do that, and they only allowed the MC to be brought to the afterlife because they were entertained by him, and they want to send him back just to put him through everything again, but with, like, different traits and perks, etc., to give them more entertainment. So this overall presentation of the first chapter sets up a variety of things. Number one, it's not just the demons or, the god of destruction that our main character has to worry about. He also has to worry about the entities in the, above realm. For instance, gods and goddesses that just want to watch humanity suffer for just entertainment alone. However, we also know that there is other worlds. It's not just sheerly, humanity that's the main focus. Like I said, the god of destruction apparently obliterated already 10 different worlds. So there is likely possibility that there could be space travel in this series, or there could be like just other aliens and different life forms and creatures and monsters that, rule other planets that were wiped out. So I feel like there's going to be more at stake than just going up against the god of destruction. It'll be literally humanity or mortals itself against the very entities in power, both in, let's say, heaven and hell. So I do really find the first chapter and the beginning part of Doombreaker a very engaging story, because it's like the main character gets another chance, but he realizes the chance he's been given isn't an easy one. It's because now he doesn't just have one entity he has to worry about, he has to worry about multiple, and he also has to figure out how to right these wrongs, and also be able to play the gods as well, to where they don't just strip power from him, but at the same time he could potentially get back at them for everything they've done to his entire, species. So like I said, Doombreaker, it's good. It's a really good read, and like the first 3 chapters definitely sets up quite a bit. I mean, you have like the power fantasy vibe, but you also have the good story and characters. I do feel like there's a lot of potential for our MC to actually have a lot of growth. There is definitely a lot of growth to be had, because I mean, number one, he is someone that was already at the peak of his species when he did die, and him kind of going back in time to regain this power, but also see people that he might have lost along the way, will definitely lead to a lot of character development, to see a lot of his struggle of trying to save people that weren't savable in the first place. So like I said, if you want something interesting to read, give this a read. Oh yeah, and the series has some pretty dark way of using humor. I mean, we get to actually see a moment in the 2nd to 3rd chapter to where our main male character, he needs to make money very quickly to be able to, power himself up, because he wants to get these recovery potions to be able to boost his overall mana capacity. Because even though he was the peak of his species back in the first chapter before he died, because of, being reset many years in the past, he has to basically start from ground zero once again. But obviously it's a lot easier this time since he has perks, etc. But he goes around and starts to like use loans and stuff to be able to actually, get these potions to drink in EMAS. And eventually you see like this nun or priestess walk up to him and it's like, hey, if you still want to make money or whatever, you could always just offer us your organs. And it's just a really morbid and like dark piece of humor in that moment, because he readily agrees to accept the contract, because he's like, as long as if I pay off the loan before, the due date of the organs being ripped out of me, it'll be a-okay. And it's just like, oh my goodness, just like how far the man will go to be able to actually power himself up. It's pretty funny, very dark, but I feel like the series definitely has a lot of different elements that makes it very enjoyable, not just, let's say, the power fantasy. But a last few things I do want to touch up on before I kind of wrap up this video, though, is one is the artwork. The artwork of Doombreaker is definitely something that I absolutely love. Like, I mean, the more and more Webtoon series I continuously discover, the more I just come to find out how impressive different artists' artwork is. Like, to Jungle Juice that I read recently, to this series now. Just so much impressive line work, artwork, and just the way the colors are. I love the backgrounds, especially of this series, but I mean, nothing's gonna beat the main male character's expression expression of just like, you know, anger or just him trying to go up against his opponent. I love the way the expressions of the characters are drawn. I also feel like if anyone just likes Omniscient Reader and that type of style too, will definitely be drawn to this story. And once again, it's only 3 chapters, so it's easy to catch up at this point, so it's not really that long of a read. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much going to wrap up the video here, though. If you want to actually help me out, you know, click the link in the description or in the comments and check out the series for yourself. Clicking on that link does help me, so to just be completely transparent with all of you on that subject. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone that tuned into this video and watched this video. Please leave a like, leave a comment, you know, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But be safe, guys. Stay healthy. Chibi out.